Hello and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. And tomorrow at 5:30, United are away to West Ham at the London Stadium. Really looking forward to that game. Ole's done his press conference this afternoon. I'm going to talk about that game, but I'm also going to talk about the fact that I think that game should be linked in a manner to the next game, which is a vital game on Tuesday in Leipzig. I do believe in the saying you take each game as it comes, but I don't think there's anything wrong with using a game to try and get your team right for the next game, while at the same time your team being good enough and strong enough to take points from the first game with your mind set forward at the game. So there's a reason why it's called the Football Philosophy channel. I'm going to lead to this towards the end of the show. I'm going to explain again, which I've done before, about my philosophy on the way the game should be played, the way United, which is the same way that I believe United should be approaching this Leipzig game, which is obviously on Tuesday night. But first of all, the West Ham game tomorrow. Ollie's at his press conference this afternoon. Obviously, he was asked about the fitness of the lads. He just said that the only one who's definitely not ready, who he thought might be ready, is Luke Shaw. So Luke Shaw's definitely not fit to play yet. He was asked about Marcus Rashford. He said that Marcus, I think he used the phrase partially, sort of partially trained with the lads today, and then he had to have treatment after training, and he said he will be fit enough to travel, or he thinks he'll be fit enough to travel with the team. But the way he put that forward about needing to have treatment straight after the training session, I'm going to hazard a guess that I don't think Marcus will be fit for the West Ham game. It's my belief that he should. Look, I know players can't play 2-3 games a week consistently, week after week after week, but I don't see any reason why, when you've got such a big game coming up on Tuesday night, why players can't play, all the players, why he can't play the same 11 on Saturday that he's going to use on Tuesday. I don't see why he can't do that. So if Marcus is fit and he's thinking of using Marcus on Tuesday night, I believe he should pick the best team that he thinks he needs for Tuesday night, and then use that very same team on Saturday and give him a chance to bed in, if you like. But personally, hearing what he's saying, I think you might find that Marcus doesn't start tomorrow. I think they might say that he's just not quite ready with his shoulder injury. He mentioned the fact that there'll be fans in the game tomorrow. There'll be 2,000 fans. He did say there'll be no United fans, but it'll still be a help. He said they're able to feed off the energy of having fans in the ground. So there should be I think they have sold 2,000 tickets for that game tomorrow. He was asked, somebody pointed out that United seem to be doing well in the Champions League, but not so well in the league. And now suddenly we've started to do pretty well in the league games, and then suddenly we lose a Champions League game. He was asked, why is it so difficult to find consistency? Ollie said he thinks we are consistent. He said there's a fine dividing line between success and failure in football. He said he believed that we played well the other night, and that it's just one of those things. They played well, it didn't go for us. They put their chances in, we didn't put our chances in. So he doesn't believe that United are being inconsistent. He just believes, I think the way he was pointing it out, he just believes that it's impossible to win every time, and you are going to lose the odd game. I suppose that's a fair comment in a way, but I do get the question. We do need to find more consistency, and finding consistency goes back to what I was talking about before. I believe we need consistency this week. We do need to pick the team tomorrow. I'm not sure Ollie will think like this, but that's what I'd do. And I'm going to explain shortly what I think my team should be, what I think the team should be, both tomorrow and on Tuesday night. But first of all, what do I think Ollie will select tomorrow? I don't think he'll be selecting an 11 that is going to use the exact same 11 on Tuesday night. I think he should, but I don't think he will. Going off what he said about Marcus, I think what he'll pick tomorrow, obviously Shaw's not fit, so I think it'll be De Gea in goal. It'll be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Telles. The midfield is a tricky one. I think McTominay will play. Will he play Fred? I mean, obviously Fred can't play on Tuesday. He's now suspended after his red card. Personally, like I've said already, maybe twice, he should pick the team tomorrow that's going to play, so Fred shouldn't play tomorrow, but I don't think Ollie will see it like that. I think McTominay and Fred will play. I think Bruno will play. I think Van der Beek will play. I think it'd be like a diamond really with McTominay at the base of it, McTominay to the right, McTominay at the base of it, Van der Beek to the right, Fred to the left, Bruno at the point. And as I say, I don't think Rashford, either A, won't be fit to play, or B, he'll think that leave him another few days and he'll be fully fit. So I think there'll be a front two really, a split pair of Cavani and Martial. So that's what I think the starting lineup will be. Whatever starting lineup he picks, the 3 points are vital. I think, and I do think we've got a team good enough to go there and get the 3 points, and then also make a fist of it on a Tuesday night in Leipzig. Now, I spoke about football philosophy. What I'm going to explain now, if I was just to sit here now and name the team that I think should play against Leipzig, 95%, maybe more than 95% of supporters would say, definitely shouldn't be that player, definitely shouldn't be that player, should be this player, should be the other player. Don't agree with quite a few things that I'm going to say. What I'm going to explain first, and this is football philosophy, I'm going to take the emotion out of it by explaining what a different team would do in a similar situation. So there's no emotion linked to I like a player, you like a different player, you like a player because he does certain things. Some of the things that some of our players do that people like, I don't like the things that they do. It's not that I don't think they're good players, it's just that they're not playing the game the way I think the game should be played. So I'm going to use an instance that could easily occur this season between two massive teams at the moment. I won't use the phrase massive club when I'm talking about Manchester City, but they're as good, when they're on the day, City, they're as good a team as there is probably in the world at the moment. Maybe not quite as good as Bayern Munich, but not far behind. So let's just imagine that Bayern Munich was to draw Manchester City. They're both group winners, so I don't think they can get each other in the last 16, but they could get each other in the quarter-final of the Champions League. So if Bayern Munich were to draw Manchester City in the quarter-final of the Champions League and the first leg was in Munich, and Bayern Munich won 1-0, if they won 1-0 in the first leg, they've then got to go to Manchester City, and they would be in the same situation as we are in going to Leipzig on Tuesday night. And the exact same situation. A draw would do them no matter what score it was. A draw would do them no matter what score. So if Bayern Munich went to Manchester City knowing that a draw will do, it would be drummed into their players, and they probably play like this a lot of the time anyway, it would be drummed into their players that they've got to keep the ball for as long as possible during the game. They've got to pass it for fun. They've got to try and keep it on the floor. If the ball comes off the floor, it's more difficult for the person that you pass it to get it under control. It doesn't matter if you've got to pass it sideways. It doesn't matter if you've got to pass it backwards. If there's a chance to... And believe me, if you keep the ball well enough and keep it for long enough, especially when the opponents need to score against you, they're going to take chances. A lot of people don't realise that opponents take chances when you've got the ball sometimes. Maybe a defender comes out of place, maybe a full-back comes forward to try and make a challenge, and if you can play a diagonal ball, it can go back out to the winger who maybe the full-back's left open. So if you keep the ball well enough and pass it around well enough, they'll get frustrated. They need a goal. You don't need a goal. You're waiting for them to make a mistake. You are waiting for them to... Don't try to force them to make a mistake by playing a ball that's not on, a ball over the top, or a tricky ball in between a full-back and a centre-back when the gap's too tight. We don't need to score. Now, I'm talking about Bayern Munich here, so take the emotion out of it, because some of you are probably already thinking, oh, he means this player and he means that player. If Bayern Munich came to Manchester City needing a draw, they would be working tirelessly on keeping the ball. If you think about it, game lasts 90 minutes. When that game kicks off, I know this is an impossibility. When that game kicks off, if you can keep the ball for 90 minutes, then you're going to get your 0-0 draw. The opposition are not going to score a goal, are they? Obviously, it's impossible to keep it for 90 minutes. If you could keep it for 80 minutes, in a way, they've only got 10 minutes in which to score a goal. If you can keep it for 70 minutes, now all of these are virtually impossible, of course. If you could keep it for 70 minutes, they've only got 20 minutes in which they can score a goal. So although those figures are probably impossible, certainly 80 or 90 minutes is impossible, the longer you can keep the ball, the less opportunity the opposition have got of scoring against you. When that game starts, you've got to realise that every single solitary time you get the ball, you are taking time out of their time in which they can score a goal. And this is how the best teams operate. Now, it sounds ridiculously defensive. It sort of is, but it isn't. Because also, while you're keeping the ball, as I've just said, they're getting frustrated. They will start making mistakes. Their team shape will start to come out of shape, if you like. A full back will come forward, maybe a centre back will go forward to try and win a ball that he shouldn't do. You're waiting for them to make a mistake so that you can pounce. This is your best way of trying to get yourself that point that you need, but at the same time you can pounce on their mistakes and you can create a chance. You're waiting for the chance to create a chance. We've got too many players who either shoot from distance. That's something else that they won't be doing, by the way. They won't be shooting from distance. They don't need to score. They need to keep the ball. If you shoot from distance 9 times out of 10, more than 19 times out of 20, you're just giving the ball to the opposition. The sooner they get that ball, the sooner they've got a chance to put pressure on you. They've got a chance to try and create the chance to get the goal that they need. You need to keep the ball. You don't need any long shots at all. You don't need any risky balls over the top or between the defenders. If it's going to go to them, they are then going to have a chance of scoring against you. And you also don't need any fancy flicks. When the ball comes to your players, you need to get that ball under control and pass it to the nearest shirt. The nearest shirt that's got space, whether it's backwards, whether it's sideways. Don't forget, they need to score. They might come on the press. If you've got to pass it backwards, if they put players forward, your defenders have got to get it through to you because they haven't got any other options, and then you're behind their press. So you need to keep the ball as long as you can, and just by keeping the ball, chances to create chances will happen. Do not try to create a chance where the chance isn't there. No long balls, no long shots, no tricky passes, all simple passes. This is what a big team would do. This is how Bayern Munich would play if they came to Manchester City. They would be told, if we can keep this ball. If you look at the stats, here's another thing. If you look at the stats about the ball being in play, they're easy to find on the internet. On average, the ball is only in play for 60 minutes in a game. On average. Sometimes it goes up to about 61 minutes. I have found one stat on the internet that showed one game where the ball was only in play for 47 minutes in a Premier League game. So if you can keep the ball, because 55% possession for one team is commonplace, by the way. Commonplace. If you can up that to 60%, if you could have 60% possession and the ball's only in play for 60 minutes, 60% out of 60 minutes, you've got it for 36 minutes. They've only got 24 minutes in which to score a goal. This is how the top pros, how the top professional coaches, the real top boys, like the likes of Bayern, they know that you've got very little opportunity during that game. If you can shorten that game, shorten their time on the ball by you having the ball more than them having it, their time is going to be dramatically reduced, and it's already down because of the length of time that the ball's out of play. The ball's on. There's one article that I found that says that fans are being shortchanged. The ball's only in play. You're only actually seeing 60 minutes of football. So this is how they would approach it. They've got to keep the ball. They've not got to try difficult passes. They've not got to try fancy passes. They've also not got to dribble it and take people on. People who dribble the ball against a defender or two, 9 times out of 10 it comes to nothing. You lose the ball, they get the ball. In that time, it's all about time. In that time that you've spent dribbling it, which might be how long does it take to dribble the ball forward? 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then you lose it. That 3, 4 or 5 seconds, if you pass a simple ball to somebody who passes a simple ball, who passes to somebody who passes a simple ball, you might keep the ball for another 20 to 30 seconds instead of somebody dribbling it and losing it, and then we've only had the ball for 4 seconds. We don't need it. We need lots and lots of passes every single time we get the ball. We need players in the team who look after the ball, Keep it simple and give the ball to the nearest red shirt if we're playing in red. With that in mind, here's the team that I would play away to Leipzig. There's no chance of it happening. There's no chance of it happening. I've got to add something else, by the way. United have got lots and lots of good players. What you've got to take into account is the percentages. This is what the big clubs will think about, the percentages. The percentage chance of what I'm going to say working is a higher percentage chance of what Ollie will probably pick working. It really is, I promise you. Now, it doesn't mean that he might pick a team completely against what I'm going to say. It doesn't mean they can't go there and win 2-0. Of course it can happen. But when you talk about the percentages, the percentage chance of playing like this has got more chance of working, even though it could still work. And obviously, if you pick the team that I'm going to say, it might not work. All of these things, it's all possible. That's the nature of the game. But this team, passing the ball around, has got more chance from the start of a game of keeping the ball longer, making the game shorter, making them frustrated, giving us a chance to make a chance. All of these things, the chances improve of this happening if you pick a team of players who play with the same mindset and have got the same outlook on the game. So his team, I want to add one more thing. He could go with a back five. I wouldn't blame him if he did. But if he's not going to go with a back five, this is what I'd go with. Hopefully Luke Shaw's fit. This is for Leipzig. I would go with De Gea in goal. I'd go Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw. It's our favourite back four. Telles is looking fine. He hasn't quite done enough yet for me to say that he gets in above Luke Shaw. Hopefully Luke Shaw's fit by Tuesday. He's not fit for tomorrow, but hopefully he's fit for Tuesday. So hopefully Luke Shaw's in. If not, obviously Telles. In midfield, we've definitely got to go with the two holding midfield players. We often go with McTominay and Fred. I've always said we need 2 out of 3. And for me, McTominay and Matic is the best pair anyway. Ollie prefers McTominay and Fred. It might be for this game, in my opinion, a good thing that Fred's missing, because for me, McTominay and Matic are both more comfortable on the ball. They're both bigger, they're both stronger. It's going to be a really difficult game competitively. And we also, although Fred runs around a lot and gets forward more, we need players to stay in position, get the ball on the floor and pass it. We will be better with McTominay and Matic. So I'd have McTominay and Matic as my 2 holding midfield players. Wide on the right, I would have Juan Mata. Now, Marcus Rashford has just started playing on the right. Now, going back to what I was saying, take the emotion out of it. If you're a massive Marcus Rashford fan, if you think Juan Mata's too slow, doesn't matter. We don't need fast players. We need players who can control it and who pass it and who see the short passes and who are more likely to make those passes. Juan Mata's passing is as good as anybody at the clubs. We do not necessarily need rapid players in this game. We really don't. We need good players who can get it under and who have got the right mindset and keep the ball with the red shirts. Juan Mata on the right has done a fine job for us. He played against Chelsea. He was doing fine. Took him off after an hour. There's no reason to do that. There's no reason. Mata on the right will be fine. McTominay, Matic in the middle, Anthony Martial on the left. Anthony Martial looks after the ball really well. He's strong, he controls it, he knows he has to take a touch. Another thing that Martial does really well, when the ball's fed into his feet, if you watch Marcus, when the ball gets played into Marcus's feet, when he's got his back to goal, he often gives it straight back to the man who's played it to him, or straight back to another defender or midfield player. Anthony takes the ball under control and he often gets fouled from behind. It happens a lot to him, and that's perfect for this game. We want their players to go into the back of our players and give us free kicks. It's more time out of the game, and that will do us, as I've just said right from the start. It'll do us. If this game could only be 10 minutes long, we'd take that, because we've got a great chance of it being 0-0. And on this occasion, 0-0 will do us. We don't have to park the bus. We do not have to park the bus. This is football philosophy. You need to pass it. You need to keep the ball with your players. So I'd go with Mata on the right, McTominay, Matic, Anthony Martial. Number 10, I'm sorry, Bruno fans. I know Bruno, if he was to play, is more likely to score a goal than Van der Beek is. I understand that. One of the reasons, well, there's numerous reasons why he's more likely to score a goal. He's more likely to score a goal because he does get further forward. That's one thing. He's more likely to score a goal because he shoots more often. That's another thing. And he's obviously more likely to score a goal because he takes free kicks and penalties. He is more likely to score a goal. I get that, but there's more than one important thing about this. First of all, if this goes as it's supposed to go for us, first of all, we don't need a goal. At first, to start with, we don't need a goal. That's one thing. But secondly, we don't need somebody taking shots on that you shouldn't be taking on, or trying to create an opportunity out of nothing. We do not need that in this game. You try and create an opportunity out of nothing, you're giving the ball to them. Probably 49 times out of 50, you're just giving the ball away. We don't need someone trying to create an opportunity out of nothing. Instead of creating an opportunity out of nothing, which means you're giving the ball to them, if you pass it simply to somebody else who's available, we might keep the ball for another 10 or 20 seconds. That's what we need to do. We don't need silly shots. We don't need silly balls over the top. We don't need fancy flicks. We need to get it under, pass it, keep it simple, which is what I've seen Van der Beek doing. Van der Beek looks absolutely superb for this style of football. That's the sort of player we need in this game. And also, I like the look of Cavani. Great touches, strong, holds it up, can also win a free kick. Experienced player. I shouldn't really use the word experienced. He's probably been very good at this since he was 23, never mind 33. So I'm using the word experienced. He's just a top player. Cavani looks a top player. So to me, that should be our lineup in Leipzig. The usual back four: Juan Mata, McTominay, Matic, Marshall, Van der Beek at number 10, Cavani at number 9. It probably won't be. No matter what he picks, we've got lots of good players. We've got a chance. If he were to pick the team that I was to pick, you could get beat because they're a top team as well. I'm working on percentages. If we were to play this game 10 times and use that team that I've just said 10 times, we'll get a result more often than we would with a different team. That's my football philosophy. I hope you've enjoyed that show. If you have enjoyed it, please give us a like, please subscribe, tell all your friends. If you didn't like it, keep stum, don't tell anyone.